Good morning. Well, it is morning. And this is Joanne Andrus here. I am going to do a couple of tutorials today on vibrato and how to learn that and add it into your playing. You don't usually learn how to vibrato until you've been playing for sometimes a couple years, sometimes even longer. It just kind of depends on how quickly you progress. You don't want to learn the vibrato too soon, simply because it's so important to learn how to keep your fingers down so that you maintain your intonation and do all that cool stuff when you're first learning. But as you get more advanced and you know your finger placements better, then it's a beautiful thing to add to your playing to make it more warm and just sound more beautiful. The ear likes the sound of the vibrations that happen with vibrato, and so the sooner you can add that into your playing, the more enjoyable it might be for you to play. Okay, so that's good incentive to work really hard when you're first learning. Okay, so one of the first things that I like to have my students do when I'm trying to teach them vibrato is a little bit of muscle memory work. Okay, so I actually have them hold the instrument just like they're going to be playing it, but instead of putting the hand actually on the neck of the violin or viola or cello, and I'm going to be doing another one on violin and viola. So if you are doing this, you're going to want to pretend. Okay, just pretend that you're actually holding the instrument and start trying to do each finger by itself. Okay, and we want to get this kind of muscle memory happening, and your thumb is not actually going to move that much, but that's the feel that we want to have, is that your hand is rocking back and forth in this kind of motion, and you're pretending with each fingering. Okay, and remember, your second finger and your thumb are across from each other on the cello. Okay, and we always want to maintain the C shape of our hand as we're getting used to this. Okay, so muscle memory. Okay, all right, then what I like to do is just start trying it. Okay, just putting your hand in position and getting used to how it feels. Da, da, just really slow. And then getting faster and faster. Okay, so just try one kind of feeling back and forth, and then just see if you can increase it, increase it, increase it. Okay, one of the things that you want to be really careful of is not having a finger vibrato. I think that's a little more tempting to do on the violin or viola, actually. I think the cello is actually easier to learn how to vibrato on. Okay, because of where your thumb is placed, it makes it so you're not kind of working against the neck as much. So your thumb being back there actually makes it quite a bit easier to keep the C shape and to keep that going. But we don't want it to go too small and too little. You hear? That's kind of a shaky sound, and you can almost hardly even hear it. Okay? So we want a little bit more movement. Okay? Third finger, your second finger is still in the same spot on the back of the cello, okay? Behind your second finger spot. And notice I'm getting a little bit more arm movement into that as I go to my third finger. Okay, that's how I tend to do it a little bit with different fingers feel differently as far as how I'm moving my hand. Okay, I'm not quite doing as much with my wrist as I am with my arm on the third and the fourth finger. Okay, so I am not a cellist, but I'm just kind of telling you how I've taught myself how to do it, and I hope that it's helpful to you. There's one other little trick I want to talk to you about, and this is something that has been quite eye-opening for a lot of cellists, especially because you do play a lot of open strings. And you can vibrato, you can get the sound of a vibrato on an open string. How do you do that? Well, you actually vibrate on the string above on the fourth finger, or on that fourth finger spot, okay? Because what we're doing is actually creating sympathetic vibrations, okay? Sympathetic vibrations meaning that by vibrating an octave higher, those vibrations are in turn sounding on the lower pitch. Okay, so let's try this. Can you hear that? Okay, it sounds a lot different than just this. Can you hear the difference? You can hear the sympathetic vibration, can't you? Okay, now we'll try it on the D string. You can really hear it, okay? So hopefully that's a helpful little tip as well for all the more advanced cellists that play a lot on open strings at times. You really can get a nice vibrating sound by doing the octave higher note and vibrating that fairly quickly, and I think if you did it too slow it may not work as well. Okay, so anyway, I notice I did it with my first finger and I shifted up instead of doing it with my fourth finger, because my fourth finger is a little harder for me to do the vibrato on, simply because I am not a cellist and I don't play on the cello as much as I probably could. Okay, one more attempt of this. Let's try it on the C string. And notice that's not as obvious. You can hear it, but it's not as obvious. Why do you think that is? Well, probably because the C string is so big. It's a lot more dense, and so I'm guessing it doesn't vibrate quite as well as the other strings would. Okay, so anyway, that's a little tidbit about vibrato on the cello. I hope it was helpful, and good luck.